To the Small Business Information Expo for Women in Business. My name is Kayla Chutter, and I am from Pacific Region's Procurement Assistance Canada, formerly known as the Office of Small and Medium Enterprises. We first and foremost would like to acknowledge that we are speaking here today from the unceded territory of the Coast Salish peoples, including the territory of the Musqueam Nation, Squamish Nation, and the Tsleil-Waututh Nation. A quick outline for the agenda today. The first 5 minutes, we will be reviewing a facilitation guide that was put together by our partners at the Women's Enterprise Center, as well as a few of our panelists that encompass some tips and tricks for navigating all the resources in the business ecosystem that are designed to help business owners like yourself. Afterwards, we will be hearing from our 6 lovely panelists, and the last 15 minutes will consist of a Q&A session. We encourage everyone to please use the chat function on Zoom to type in any questions you may have throughout the duration of the webinar, and we will be addressing those questions at the very end. We also kindly ask that everybody puts their microphone on mute so that this webinar can run as smoothly as possible. Another housekeeping note is that today's session is being recorded, and the recording link will be emailed to you following the webinar today for your reference for the future, as well as a few resources that we have compiled, including the contact information from our panelists and some further links to look into. This event was created in collaboration with our partner, the Women's Enterprise Center, and we are very excited to have you here and to get started. So the facilitation guide was put together because we realized that there are so many resources out there, and for business owners, it's not necessarily a problem of there being a lack of resources, but just which resources fit best with your company and your needs and how you want to progress moving forward. Some places to start exploring that are really time efficient, but really give you a good idea of what is out there are the 2 that are listed here on the screen. We have the Business Benefit Finder as well as the Government Electronic Directory Service. These are 2 resources that are highly underutilized, and I will be walking you through a little bit about them today. So the Business Benefit Finder is a government resource. It is by Innovation, Science and Economic Development Canada. It essentially allows business owners to build their own story in order to get suggestions for resources that are suited for them. So you start off here with that first bullet point, and there's a drop-down menu where you can click and select anything that you'd like, and the next drop-down menu, the next one, and the next one. And then after you've built your whole story, you hit submit, and the website will generate for you a list of resources that might be of use to you. It's a really cool resource that allows you to get a variety of suggestions very quickly. Next, we have the Government Electronic Directory Service, or GEDS for short. You can think of this like an online phone book for the vast majority of public servants in the federal government. So it allows you to find contacts for the vast majority of those federal public servants pretty quickly. Oftentimes, suppliers don't know exactly who they're looking for. If they do, you're able to search by name or by phone number or by position title. But what I like to suggest is that you click on search/browse and go down to department listings. This will give you all the departments listed in alphabetical order so that you're able to browse and look through all the departments available. And this way you're able to kind of narrow down and find which contacts in government might be useful for you to reach out to. Moving on from those 2 resources, we have tips for engaging with support organizations. First, clarity is key. We usually have potential supports for different businesses, but we might not realize what exactly is helpful to you unless you disclose what exactly you need moving forward. 2, you don't want to pre-disqualify yourself from looking just at the website. It might not be a perfect match, but usually programs are offered on a temporary basis, or we might have suggestions through our networks that are suited for you. So it never hurts to reach out to those support organizations and start that discussion. Number 3, as your situation changes, don't be afraid to reach out again and again. We are here to support small businesses, and I can speak for everybody on the panel here as well that Supporting small businesses is definitely a highlight of our work. So as your situation changes and your needs evolve, always feel free to reach out, because even if just time has passed, new opportunities might be out there for you to tap into. When looking into supports for your business, it is also helpful to identify who you are and what makes you unique. So do you identify as being youth, Indigenous, an immigrant, a person of color, a woman? The list goes on and on. There might be specific programs available for you that you haven't even heard of that might help you in a really impactful and beneficial way. And number 5, know that you can work with multiple organizations at the same time. Bottom line is that all of these supports are here to help you, and that there is no limit to how many you can be using at a given time. Different programs include business advising, mentoring, one-off trainings, one-on-one mentoring, peer mentoring, different topics that they can go into: wage subsidies, loans, grants, and tax credits. And finally, for this guide, we have the key questions when engaging with support organizations. You'll want to find out who you're actually communicating with. We suggest that you get their name, their phone number, their extension, and their email. Ensure that you know what the next steps of the process are so that you can follow up with said contact and move forward from there. So when you're looking at what your next steps are, you can ask, how are you supposed to register? Is there maybe an email listing you can tap into? Is there an email that the organization is going to send you to follow up? Can you register on their website, etc.? Number 3, when communicating with a service provider, you'll want to ask yourself, is it free? Is there a fee? Is there a limited number of sessions that you can have? Is there a limited number of seats in the program? Identifying these parameters can help you understand kind of how you want to prioritize the supports that are available to you. And number 4 is you don't know what you don't know. So it's completely fine to be unsure of what opportunities are available for you or even what you need. And starting those discussions can be the first step in finding that out. I also always recommend that you ask if there's another resource or contact that you can be referred to. Whether you are a good fit for this program or support or you're not, it never hurts to ask if there's anything further that they would recommend or anyone they can refer you to specifically so that you can get all the supports that you may need. And with that, I am going to introduce Danielle from the Women's Enterprise Center to run through her presentation deck.
Thank you, Kayla. I am so inspired by that presentation, and I think there's so much value in learning how to make the most out of the programs and services available. So today I am representing Women's Enterprise Center. We are a not-for-profit organization that is dedicated to supporting BC women realize their business potential. You can go to the next slide. You'll see a photo of me. I'm the outreach officer, and I'll have my contact details at the end of the presentation in case you want to get connected. Women's Enterprise Center serves all of BC, and so prior to COVID, we operated out of 3 offices, but now we are really truly virtual, and I believe right now we are physically in 13 different communities. You can go to the next slide. So our passion is to empower women entrepreneurs to their business success. And we recognize, you can go to the next slide, that success looks different for every entrepreneur. We know that some people get into business because they have a passion. Some people get into business because they want work-life balance. They want to provide for their family. So it's really important for you to understand why you are in business. So when you get into it and perhaps you're having a hard day, you can go back to that and say, am I on the right path? Am I moving towards that, that piece of success that I am putting my energy into? And how can this organization help you get there? And so here's a slide that lists our key services. So we have a loan program that goes up to $150,000. We have partnerships. I'd like to recognize Vicki, who's on the line. We have a partnership through the Van City Unity Loan Program. We also have a partnership with BDC, as well as with Futurepreneur. So again, we partner with other organizations to ensure that you get the funding that you need. We also offer business advice. We offer skills training that I'll get into, mentoring, and then we have a whole supportive community. So getting into our lending philosophy. So our lending philosophy, we really look beyond the numbers. We make sure that you have a viable business plan, and we make those decisions based off of the business plan. If you're looking for ongoing support, that's something that we do. And as well, on this slide, you can see some of the terms of our loans. And the best place to learn more about our loan program is an info session called the Business Loan Information Session. So I'll put that in the chat after I'm done, and you can learn more about that program. We also have business advising. So this slide shows that we support business owners in all stages. So whether you're thinking about starting a business, like you have that idea, but you're not sure if you have a business model for it yet, we can help with that pre-startup, all the way to maturity. So say you want to export, say you want to open a new location, you want to franchise, whatever that growth goal is, we have business advising to support you along the way. Then we have our mentoring program, which is arguably the most popular. We have a combination of a one-to-one mentoring where we match a mentee with a mentor, and those are 6-month relationships. We are accepting applications in January, so make sure to connect with us about that. We also peer mentoring, where you can get a group of women together and learn from one another. And then we also have specialty programs like Taking the Stage, which is all about learning how to communicate with confidence. So these are the quick links if you want to jot them down, where to go to find more information. I believe that we'll have a follow-up email with our resources so you can get connected. And if you're wondering how to get connected and learn what it is about Women's Enterprise Center that makes it special, on the screen there are 3 trainings that are coming up in the next few weeks. And I really recommend that you check them out. They're free. The first 2 are free. The Scaling for Success has a pay what you can model. So I invite you to check that out. And something that just launched today that I can tell you about is we have a virtual pop-up shop, where if you are a woman in business in BC, you can go on our website, and we've created this virtual pop-up shop just in time for the holiday season, so people can purchase directly from your business on this pop-up shop store. So I'll put all those links in the chat. I know that was a lot of information. We just had 5 minutes to share it with you, but there's my contact information. You can reach me at clientservices@womensenterprise.ca. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll pass the floor over to our next presenter.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Danielle. Next, I'd like to welcome Jessica Wicks from Accelerate Okanagan to tell us about how they are able to support women in business.
Guess I have to learn to unmute a little bit faster. Thanks so much, Kayla. I'm really happy to be here. Can everyone hear me okay? I can't really see myself, but I'm guessing you can hear me. So my name is Jessica Wicks, and I'm the community lead at Accelerate Okanagan. I really like to describe what I do as meeting with entrepreneurs and connecting them with the people, resources, and programs that help them get from where they are to where they want to be. I am joining today from the Vernon Innovation and Entrepreneur Workspace, and we are located on the traditional and unceded territories of the Syilx Okanagan people. Accelerate Okanagan supports the growth of the innovation ecosystem in our region, which reaches from salmon arm to a Soyuz. And we do this by providing entrepreneurs with the mentorship and connections and community that they need to build and scale technology-driven ventures. And when we say technology-driven, people often think of needing to know how to code or developing an application, but tech is actually a term that encompasses many different things. So clean tech, agri-tech, aerotech, biotech, those are just some of the subcategories under the technology umbrella. And technology-driven might also mean that you're not selling a tech-related product, but you're using technology in an innovative or a novel way to scale your business. So don't count yourself out and think that you're not tech enough. You'll see from our program stack here that we support founders from the idea stage all the way through to anchor or exit. And we provide this support through structured programs and access to our incredible team of business mentors. So although there is a fee for most of the programs, they are highly subsidized, and it is always free to, have a discovery call and find out if it's a good fit. We're also really collaborative by nature. So we make a lot of referrals to our partners and other community support organizations. And I know that Andrea from Uvics is going to share about a program that we collaborated on last year, as well as some of the other supports that might be available for free through your alumni network. We often say that it takes a village to raise an entrepreneur. In the startup stage, we have an online course that's called Startup Basics, and members can access it at any time at their own pace. Our flagship program at this level is our Venture Acceleration Program, which is a 6-month cohort-based program, and it's designed to help early stage startups validate their product market fit and go to market. At the scale-up stage, our signature program is Rev Up, which is a team-based mentorship engagement that's completely custom, and it means that we have a team of mentors who are assisting your leadership team. It's for companies who have seen existing traction and now they want to scale by really anchoring themselves as a market leader, expanding into a new market, or through acquisitions. We have a program right now that's called Advisor Access, and it's for Main Street businesses who want to become more tech-enabled. We're actually able to offer this program complimentary based on some of the funding we received this year from the Economic Trust of the Southern Interior of BC, as well as Innovate BC. And while we don't provide funding ourselves, we have many relationships with different funders and organizations, and we're always really happy to make referrals, really based on the need, stage, and the desires of the founders that we're serving. We also do run a funding-related event, which is called the Okanagan Angel Summit, and it's sort of like American Idol meets Dragon's Den. It was developed to expose new and existing investors into the world of angel investing. And it really, in turn, helps us plug more capital into the startup community. This year, we have some women-focused investor pre-training on the agenda, and the lead on our fund is Carolyn Schaefer from Women's Equity Lab. Of course, if you're going to train investors, you need companies for them to invest in. So we invite companies from across Western and Northern Canada to apply this year. Applications are open now, and I'll pop that into the chat after this. So in addition to our programs, mentorships, and referrals, we also provide entrepreneurs with a sense of community through our membership, because we know that building a business can be a really lonely journey, especially for those whose friends and families aren't really entrepreneurial. We also have some co-working spaces in Kelowna and Vernon so that you can find your people who kind of understand what you're up to. And we see a lot of peer collaboration and mentorship happen within these spaces. We also aim to provide a platform for our members to share their journey and amplify their message. And we do this through our Okanagan Tech brand that's focused exclusively on storytelling about the people, so the founders, the employees, the visionaries that are within our community. And I'll share some links so you can follow along on what's happening in the Okanagan. Finally, the best way to plug in with us is to fill out one of the application forms on our website, or to book a community concierge call with someone like myself, and you'll just get connected with a team member who is happy to point you in the right direction for support, whether that be with AO or with another organization that we know of.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jessica, for those insights. I'm going to pass the mic on to Andrea Hayes from Coast Capital Innovation.
Excellent. Welcome, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. Next slide. My name is Andrea Hayes, and I am the program manager at the Coast Capital Innovation Center. I'm also a managing partner at Changemaker Academy, and what I love about my job is that it allows me to be a little bit more of myself. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I know what it's like to succeed at something I absolutely hated, and to pack it in, to fail at something I was deeply passionate, and now to find success at something with people I love working with based on my own purpose, unique abilities, and values. So my job feels like an extension of who I am. I really love helping humans find success based on their own success metrics, and helping them succeed a little faster than I did in my last 10 years, because I did sleep in my car for 7 months trying to make it. So I know that the struggle can be very real. Next slide, please. So I am from the University of Victoria, and I'd like to acknowledge with respect the Lekwungen people whose traditional territory the university stands, and the Songhees, Esquimalt, and Wasanish peoples whose historical relationships with the land continue to this day. So what we do, so we are Uvics Venture Incubator. We actually do offer free programming and support. I'll get into more detail later. So we help entrepreneurs get support and build connections, whether that be with faculty, community, and various partners. We've collaborated with many organizations on this call, brought in guest speakers, for example, from the Women's Enterprise Center, created W Venture with Accelerate Okanagan and Viatech. So we really are, again, collaborative in nature, trying to point you in the direction you need to go to get the support you need. So our main program is called the Launch Program. So what that is it's cohort-based programming, and it runs every semester. So you can think of September, January, and April. We bring in content experts to share anything from marketing, finance, negotiation, et cetera, to help women have that seat at the table. And again, we did do W Venture in collaboration, which was a 3-month personalized programming to help really rally support around women and their needs. Again, we brought in many content vendors, connected people with SMEs, et cetera. How we can help. So here's a slide on how we can help. We do have a little bit of funding available. One is a prototype fund. So we're pretty flexible in how this is used. We've had people use it for marketing, incorporation, et cetera. All we ask is for you to come up with a budget, do some research, present why you think it is important for your business. And while we can't often cover all of the fund for you, we can generally send and cover about 75% of some of those costs, like incorporation. We also have something called the SFELF fund, which is basically an experiential learning fund, which actually allows co-op students to engage in our program. They get credit for school, and they also get $5,000 for support throughout that semester, which is pretty cool, and it makes us unique. We have competitions, which I'll touch on later. We have access to world-class equipment. So think about 3D printers, green screens, cameras. We also have access at our library to things with like experts to help you with secondary research, faculty to help you get into the nitty-gritty of very specific, nuanced information. Again, partnerships with regional and national accelerators, and partnerships with a bunch of tools and resources, which you can see here. So you either get discounted or free access to many, many tools that can help you with your business. We bridge the gap between MyTax and NRC IRAP, and we also have space to work both at the university and Quench that is free for our members. And next slide. Who we work with. So I'll slow down. My apologies for talking so quickly. So who we work with students, faculty, staff, and alumni. Those are our primary demographics that we do work with. It is free, as I mentioned, for all of these community members. That said, if you are in the community and you're not directly affiliated with UVic, don't hesitate to reach out, as we are pretty open. If we think we can help you, we probably won't leave you lingering. We also have the IACE program, which is Canada's only Indigenous co-designed and community delivered entrepreneurship program. That isn't just run through the Innovation Center, it's through the university. But again, I just thought that was a really useful link for you to check out if you do fall within that category. Key events, so competitions. I'm going to share 2 of our key competitions in just a moment, but we like to think about competitions and pitch competitions, less about the money you win and more about the community that you build. So we bring in experts, people who have judged many pitch competitions, who have a variety of expertise that you can connect with and bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be with help of other people. It really is experiential learning, so you can dip your toes in the water before you go into a bigger pitch event, and we do have prize money available. We also run networking events and workshops. So we like to think about this as cross-disciplinary team development. So what I mean here is if you need tech help, we'll probably have students or faculty in the room with a tech background, and perhaps you might even find a co-founder or a team member within these events. And next slide, please. So again, our 2 so how we support women, we do have women-led programming, so women run our programs. We bring in women presenters and speakers. We prioritize this even in our launch program, which are geared at women's needs. As an example, we brought in a hostage and crisis negotiator from Scotland who really taught our women to have a seat at the table and to negotiate through tough challenges. W Venture, again, that was an example of a program that we created just for women around their needs with Biotech and Accelerate Okanagan. Since our founding, we've had 40% program participation from women, and this is a big jump for us because at the beginning, the majority was men, and nowadays 50% of our participants are competitors at our pitch competition, with the majority of prizes actually being won by women, which is really cool. So pitch it. So if you would like to practice pitch it, if you're student, faculty, alumni, you can engage in our pitch it competition. It's a 90-second pitch. There's 5 winners win $300. But beyond that, you have a pretty low-hanging fruit way of generating a lot of connections within the community. So if you want to check that out, you can look on our website, which is on our last slide. And our next competition is in November. And lastly, we have Planet. So this is a 2-tiered competition. What you have to do is submit a 3 to 5 page business plan. And then if you make it through the next phase, you'll give a 5-minute pitch and there's $8,000 in prize money. So again, a really wonderful way to practice your skills, gain connections, etc. And our next competition is in December. So that's all for now. And there's all the links to connect should you want to reach out.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Andrea. I am now going to pass it on to Vicky Sharmalel from Van City.
Great. Thank you, Kayla. Some wonderful information so far, and I hope you guys take advantage. So I wanted to say hello. I'm Vicky Sharmalel, and I'm a small business advisor at Van City Credit Union. And I've been with Van City Credit Union for over 20 years, and I have experience in a breadth of roles from lending, management, facilitation, consulting, personal and business banking. And today I'm joining you from Vancouver, British Columbia, and I would like to acknowledge that I'm gathering on the territories represented today by the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations. They have been the custodians of this land for thousands of years, and I would like to pay my respects to the elders, both past and present. So a little bit about me. As an immigrant, a woman of color, and first university graduate in my family, a working mother of 2, I really understand the many roles that women can successfully navigate. As a small business advisor, I'm really passionate about supporting women entrepreneurs, and I really enjoy connecting with small business owners to really help them achieve their dreams one step at a time. So next slide, Kayla. Thank you. So when you bank with Van City, you really join a movement. We're a credit union, and we offer a full range of financial products and services for individuals, businesses, and not-for-profit organizations. They include deposits, loans, investments, credit cards, and foreign exchange products. Van City is a cooperative, which means that we are owned by our members and democratically controlled on the basis of one member, one vote, including voting for the board of directors. So when you bank with Van City, you really do join a movement. Did you know that Van City shares 30% of its net profits with members and communities? And we've shared since 1994 over $375 million with members and communities through our Shared Success program. So Vancity really is a financial force for change because we do like to do things a little bit differently and from a different lens. Vancity's innovative approach to serving financial needs of its members and communities, it has led to a number of firsts among Canadian financial institutions, including the first to offer mortgages to women without a male cosigner. That seemed like such a long time ago, but it was very new in the market at the time. The first to offer a socially responsible mutual fund, and the first to become carbon neutral. And here are just some of the ways that Vancity does support the community. And I'll take you a few seconds to look at these items. And one program that I'm very proud of, that I work very closely on, is the Unity Women Entrepreneurs Program. And this is a program, Danielle spoke a little bit about it. We've partnered with Women's Enterprise Center on this program. So it's great because Vancity offers you the lending, and then we've partnered with Women's Enterprise Center to really give you that wraparound service and provide you with that advisory support, networking opportunities, and advice from really experienced mentors. And I wanted to talk in detail about the program. This slide, I actually just pulled right from our website. And if you're interested, you go ahead and apply right there, or just type in women+vancity.com and it'll come up on the internet. Basically, we've got two loan programs that we offer within the Unity Women Entrepreneurs Program. One is the startup one, and it's for women-owned businesses in operation for more than 6 months. It's structured as a variable line of credit, and you have access up to $20,000. The lending rate is based on prime plus 3%, and it's a very simplified approval process, and qualification is based on your personal credit bureau scores. The other loan that we offer it's a growth loan. And it's for women-owned businesses in operation for 12 months or longer. And it's structured as a variable term loan. And you have access up to $100,000. And the lending rate on this product is actually prime plus 1.5%. The maximum term is 60 months, and it's interest-free for 6 months. So in terms of prime is 2.45 currently, and when I've referred to the +3 or +1.5, you just add that on for that rate. For both of these lending products, when we process either of them, we will partner you with Women's Enterprise Center to be able to get you that complimentary support and advice through their services. So I want you to be your own force for change. Go ahead and scan that QR code and book yourself a 30-minute complimentary consultation with me. I've spent about 20 years perfecting my skills to really help women entrepreneurs just like you, because I know that your ideas are worth exploring. You just need to believe in yourself and believe in it too. So scan the code and let's just chat. Thank you, everyone. Now I want to know that there's an opportunity there. So what's holding you back? Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Vicki. I am now going to pass it on to Kathy from Community Futures to take it from here.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Sitting here listening to everybody, I'm certainly feeling very well surrounded as a female, and certainly a female entrepreneur. It's pleasing to see there's so many supports in place across the province. I want to acknowledge that I'm speaking to you from the unceded territory of the Coast Salish people, and closest to us are the Cowichan tribes people. We're located in Duncan on Vancouver Island. Now, I'm here today as the General Manager of Community Futures Cowichan, but I also sit on the Community Futures Board as a manager's rep. The Community Futures program, there's 34 of us across BC. So you'll find us everywhere except for Greater Vancouver and Greater Victoria. But obviously, anybody who's seeking to be an entrepreneur or run a business in those areas, there's tremendous support you can access in those two areas, those what we call the urban areas. Now, our program, we're very similar to the Women's Enterprise Center and also Futurepreneur. And you can see there that we're independently run organizations, all 34 of us, but together we're all focused on building the rural entrepreneur capacity. And the number one way we do that is through business loans and supports. So next slide. This is a snapshot or a slide that shows what the values are for our community futures. And you can see we have 5 main ones there, and that's building strong rural communities, supporting our clients, embracing change, and certainly diversity and inclusion. So those are what guide us, all our offices. Next slide. Now, what we offer, the core program in all 34 offices, is our loans program. And this includes the technical and advisory services and also the access to capital designed to help your businesses grow. So in some cases, that means that we help would-be entrepreneurs determine that maybe they don't have the most viable business idea. And we don't share that often, but sometimes a really good meeting with our staff helps you understand what the difference is between a viable business and not. And we don't want to see anybody go down the road where it's not a good business plan. Yes, next slide. Now, these are the top 5 reasons that people come to us for loans. We know everyone needs startup money. You could be looking to expand or grow. There could be a point in your business you just need more working capital. Continue to invest in your business through equipment and technology. Those are always changing. And a big one we're seeing is acquisitions. So those are the top 5 reasons that we write loans to small businesses or female entrepreneurs. Next slide. So I know this print here is smaller, but these are probably the top 6 scenarios of why about a community futures loan could be a good fit or a good option. So you could reach your lender, your maximum limit with your current lender. You need a bit more money. It's something we could entertain. You can see their financing for fixed assets, generate cash flow. You know, you present a strong business plan, but it lacks financial history. You can present or bring forward a lot of personal assets that we can leverage to a greater degree. And big reason people we can help is with the technical business advice. So the big takeaway in that slide is we can be pretty flexible. But what I also want to offer everybody who's listening and you're considering where you should be accessing financing if you're in rural BC, we do a lot of partner loans. I think that's on the next slide. Yeah. We do a lot of partner loans with folks, and so we've worked with the Women's Enterprise Center. We work with all the financial institutions. Sometimes everybody who's in the lending or the business game comes together to make folks successful. We all take a small part of the deal. So though we're all presenting as kind of individual organizations, I feel confident saying that it could be in your best interest to put a couple programs together, and we're certainly open to working with that. So the slide in front of you right now, get myself organized. Well, go back. Yeah, there we go. Just it highlights kind of the features of a community futures loan and the benefit it has. We can adjust amortization periods. So if you've got a longer amortization period, there's less monthly obligation, frees up some cash to do some other things. We can do customized repayment schedules. So you can see we can match payments to seasonal cash flows. That's huge for some industries like tourism or agriculture. We can defer payments, and that allows you to react to unexpected business issues. We don't have any prepayment penalties. And so obviously that certainly frees up some money for the small business. And we're really flexible, interest only. And of course that again, helps with cash flow because cash is king. So different ways to look at community futures loans and what we can offer. So going forward. So specific to female entrepreneurs, our approach to lending could we figure fits with when you're first considering financing. I can share with you from our business lenders, it can feel daunting. And I think we've heard that in the presentations before. It could be seen as a power imbalance. You really want to start or grow your business, and you want to work with someone who sees it the same way you do. And we know with female entrepreneurs, often they're more motivated to make a difference. They want to bring a product or service to market that has a lot of impact on their community. They're not only motivated by the money. We know with female entrepreneurs, risk is huge. They tend to go slower And we have patience for working with them that way. We know that there's a lot of meeting and counseling required, and we've got the systems built in to do that. Probably what we're most proud of is helping folks get loan ready. A business plan to understand your business is one thing, and then there's a business plan to demonstrate to the lender that we're worth taking a risk on you, and that can be multiple meetings, and we call that getting loan ready. One of the things we know on our female entrepreneurs, often when they start a business, it's part-time, it's supplemental income, but we're prepared to work with you whatever small baby steps you want to make. And then, like I've demonstrated, we look to create a loan product that serves at your needs. So often it's a case-by-case business. And there we go. Some of the other programs we have, and they're shared with some of the other partners on the call today. For anybody who wants to grow your business, if you're reached a point now that you want to go over the border, you want to take on the world and try out Alberta or Washington State, that's what Export Navigator helps you do. Venture Connect, it's a subsidiary that we own, and it's all about succession planning. We hear that's going to have a major impact in rural communities. Is how do we make sure the businesses that are currently owned stay in place, especially if they're high value businesses in rural communities. So supporting that work through Venture Connect, BC Business Match, and that's all about creating and all these you can just find by typing into Google these names, and the websites will come up. BC Business Match has turned out to be wildly successful. So building a massive database about, I'd like to sell my business, how do I get it out to market? Or I'd like to buy a business, what's out there? And this is especially important in rural BC as we reach this point where there's a lot of turnover in business. We want to make sure that these businesses that contribute a lot to smaller, more rural communities stay there and they continue to operate. And the BC's Legacies Project, we're just a partner in it. We're not leading it, but very cool project run by Scale Collective. They've got 4 pilot projects across the province. And you know the idea that they're introducing? Maybe a really awesome business that's come up for sale. How great would it be if it was owned by a nonprofit? And those profits generated in the business get returned into the nonprofit to advance their good work. So it's a pilot project teaching nonprofits about how to identify fitting businesses and then operate them for greater impact in the community. So those are other ways that Community Futures offices get involved with complementary programs to support our communities. So there's the closing slide. That's our office. You can type in anybody who's on the call from Vancouver Island, but I would encourage you to type in communityfutures.ca, and that's our provincial website, and you can access all our offices that way. Thank you.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Kathy. Last but certainly not least, I'm going to pass it on to another Kayla. Kayla Isabel from Startup Canada to wrap up the panelist portion of this webinar.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Kayla. Hello, everyone. Happy Small Business Week. And hello from Ottawa, Ontario. I'm tuning in from the unceded territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe Nation. Today, I'll chat a little bit about Startup Canada's various supports that we have offered nationally, but available locally within your region, wherever you're located now. You are welcome to click on that side. Fabulous. So about Startup Canada, if you have not heard of us before, we are the gateway to Canada's aspiring entrepreneurs and entrepreneurial ecosystem to really provide the resources, community, network, and support that any entrepreneur needs to start and then scale their business. So every door is the right door entering into Startup Canada. We can support you by pointing you in the right direction, offering some flagship program support, or amplifying some of the stories that you would like to tell from your business. Our vision is really to make Canada the best place to start and grow a business in alignment with many of the partners that you've seen today. Some key stats at a glance. Last year, we supported 122,000 entrepreneurs, and that is in large part by the support that we are able to amplify through COVID-19. So by shifting digitally, we have really extended out all of our programs digitally with a large focus on rural and remote communities and trying to touch every corner, coast to coast to coast of Canada. We have an incredible newsletter community and online space with over 28,000 community members there, lots of social media followers and those that engage with us on a daily or weekly basis, and 38 national communities. So while we have Startup Canada, which is the large nonprofit supporting coast to coast to coast, we also have these smaller local chapters. So think Startup Vancouver, Startup Sault Ste. Marie, Startup Halifax, all of these different communities that bring that local feel, but connected to the national entity that is Startup Canada. We've also added a couple of new communities across industry verticals. So think startup fashion, startup SaaS, mixing babies with business, so that we're not only supporting entrepreneurs based on their various regions, but also based on their industries and where they might need some tailored support. So that spans through all of our programs. In today's session, really the main program I would love to showcase and offer is our Startup Women program. And this program has evolved over the last number of years since our inception 10 years ago. But in 2021, during the pandemic, we shifted this program to really serve the needs of what we saw women entrepreneurs needing. And that was rooted in advisory and mentorship support. So we have a network of other entrepreneur support organizations, women entrepreneurs, private sector partners, so think leaders from various financial institutions, groups like Google, PayPal, UPS, those types of partners that offer free one-on-one advisory support. We offer this program during the month of March in 2021. Next year, it's going to be shifting over to a fully annual structure, so you'll be able to access any of the supports any day of the year in 2022, but really anchored in having somebody to bounce ideas off of and just saying, you know, I need some additional external perspective, a little bit of subject matter expertise, somebody who's been where I am trying to go in a really easy and digital space to make those connections across the country in both languages, of course. So we offer these one-on-one mentorship sessions, and this will be available completely for free for any women identifying entrepreneur starting at the beginning of next year. We do this through a platform called Mentorly. So you navigate essentially seeing all of the different mentors and advisors available to you, seeing what different advisory support they specialize in. So if it's finance, if it's looking at e-commerce, if it's tech, all of those details are indicated in their profile. And you book a calendar invite with them based on their availability. So it's literally as simple as that to get some support for your business. During the month of March this year, we supported 3,900 women entrepreneurs through this program and additional webinars and other supports. So we're hoping to support even more starting in 2022. I'm going to hop over to the next slide there. Fabulous. Another one of our flagship programs that we have the grand finale of tomorrow, so if you're looking to get inspired from some entrepreneurs, is called Startup Global. And this program used to be called the Canadian Export Challenge. So if that language sounds familiar, it's similar to CXC. And this is a series of digital pitch competitions, workshops on what is exporting, how do I navigate international markets, what support exists for me as I'm trying to navigate shipping to the US, or understanding trade tariffs, or understanding trademark law in the UK. This program essentially wraps its arms around all of the various support organizations that can help you go global in one portal and through a series of events. We then profile incredible entrepreneurs that are looking to scale internationally, and we help them through funding. So we had over $75,000 in funds this year that we allocated, in addition to a lot of great storytelling. So what are the hurdles that entrepreneurs are facing? What are some really incredible innovations that we're seeing come out of Canada that deserve real estate on the global stage? So this program will wrap up with our grand finale tomorrow, where you'll find out who wins all of the grand finale prizes. But next year, we'll also be shifting to an annual structure. Also completely free, so you're welcome to access any of the videos, resources, templates, tools, anything that you need to go global is all found in the Startup Global portal, which you can find right on our website and sign up for today. Then we've got our Startup Gov program, and that is really the heavy hitting focus of our Small Business Week this week. That is focused on connecting the voices of Canadian entrepreneurs to government. So obviously we have a new same government that is in power currently. So we've been gathering perspectives from all of our different community leaders, various entrepreneurs across different industries to make recommendations. What do we need to make a more inclusive economic recovery? How do we efficiently support women entrepreneurs and make some radical changes to funding structures or various commitments that the federal and provincial governments are making? So this is the platform that if you're looking for your voice to be heard, you're not sure how to navigate lobbying or having your voice heard from these senior officials in government, this is a great program that Startup Canada can help you bridge into so that your voice is amplified through a larger institution. Next year, this will also be shifting annually, but what you'll see during Small Business Week is a number of events on key topics that we've been covering through some of that advocacy and lobbying. So looking at the role of national innovation ecosystems, looking at women's entrepreneurship and how we're navigating the She Session and opportunities we might have for economic recovery. We're looking at the MasterCard Index for support for women entrepreneurs internationally. So how do we bring those best practices close to home? And then looking at rural and remote communities and various infrastructures and supports that we can see as we really showcase rural innovation and rural leaders across Canada through these various voices as well. So we have a couple more events throughout the rest of the week. You can check them all out on the Startup Canada website as well. We also have a community empowerment fund. So you'll see our various communities across Canada promote various events throughout the year. So some of them might be focused on women entrepreneurs, others might be for Black entrepreneurs, Indigenous leaders. We really try to provide programs that are led by and for various audience groups. So these events happen throughout the year, all powered through some of our private sector partners. Those are our CEF funds. Lastly, we've got a number of podcasts and ways that you can engage. So through the Startup Canada podcast, Startup Women podcast, or our new syndicated podcast, Powwow Pitch, or the Powwow Pitch podcast, in addition to Startup Chats. And all of those are accessible on a weekly basis with new content. Then we've got Business Owners Toolbox, which will be launching fairly soon to give you all the tools that you need to start your business. So what is incorporation? How do I sell? What does HR look like in making my first hire? So we'll be launching this at the end of this year to give every entrepreneur some foundational resources across our various partners. And then contact. So if you'd like to engage with us, please do so on social media. You can email one of our entrepreneur success managers, Priya, if you have any questions about our support, or send any inquiries to hello@startupcan.ca if you're looking for some help. Looking forward to answering any questions and happy to support in any way.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Kayla. It looks like we have come to the very end of our time slot today, since we got started a little bit late. So I'm not sure if we'll have any time for questions. Maybe I'll just put it this way. If any of the panelists, no pressure, would like to stick around for a few more minutes to answer any questions that the registrants have, that would be great. If not, thank you so much for attending, and please do expect to receive an email in the next few days with this recording, as well as some further resources and contact information. So with that, I will pass it on to Danielle, who will take it from here and wrap up whenever she sees fit. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Kayla. Thank you, everyone, for your presentations, to our panelists. I have been monitoring the chat and I do see some questions on here. So for anyone who wants to stick around for some questions, let's take 5 minutes and get to those questions while we are all here together. So the question that I see in the chat is pointed to our organizations that have loans. So the question is, do you have to pay interest if you get approved for the loan but don't use it? I can start by answering from Women's Enterprise Center's perspective. So if you get approved for a loan, but it is not dispersed, if you don't choose to get the loan, then you don't need to pay interest. But if you do choose to take the loan, that's when the interest would start. and start accruing, and then you would have to pay that interest back. So that's the answer there from Women's Enterprise Center's perspective. Vicki from Vancity or Community Futures, would you like to jump in with anything additional?
Yes, Danielle, that's the same for Vancity's perspective as well too. So I can echo that as well.
And it would be the same with Community Futures, that once the loan's dispersed, the interest starts to apply.
Okay, fantastic. Any other questions? So someone is looking for business planning support, looking to get in touch with an expert. So can any of the organizations talk about business planning support and your expert connections? Who would like to jump in with that?
Yeah, I'm happy to go first. I believe that's the question where someone wants to start a glamping business, and who doesn't love to glamp? So I think this is a great idea. I would think that if you connected with any of the panelists that were on today, that you would find yourself in an excellent conversation with a group of experts that would be skilled in asking the right questions. And those right questions are all about you shaping up the best business plan for you. It was mentioned in someone else's presentation before, you just don't know what you don't know. And I think every one of us on the call today, we're all from different organizations, but I feel strongly we all believe in the exact same thing, and we're willing to help you find out what you don't know is what you don't know. So I think a lot of those are websites, or even connecting with staff, whatever one of us resonated the most with you, and you'd be in good hands.
Great, thanks, Kathy. And I know, for example, with Accelerate Okanagan, you have specific industry experts. I know with Women's Enterprise Center, some of our advisors have expertise in different areas. So again, the invitation is to reach out, and we are very good at referring back and forth. So it's never a dead end if you reach out to someone. Okay, looking at the chat. So there's a question from Susan. Can you please let us know when the Startup Canada BOT will be available? Looking for info on setting up a corporation. Kayla?
Finding my unmute button. Absolutely. So stay tuned. If you join our Startup Canada mailing list, it'll be launching within the month. So stay tuned there. You'll get premium access by subscribing.
Wonderful. Okay, I don't see any additional questions. Just to round out, any words of encouragement from our panelists, any messages to leave off this session as there's some remaining women entrepreneurs on the line?
There's no shortage of support. That if you are looking for help, every door really is the right door of any of these panelists and beyond. So don't feel you have to navigate this alone. There are so many different experts, advisors, connectors, different support organizations that want to help you and do it quickly because time is of the essence when you're building your business. We know that.
Fantastic. Well, I think that's a great message to leave it off on. Thank you so much for all of our panelists for being here today. Thank you to Kayla and Stephanie from Procurement Assistance Canada. You've done a great job facilitating. Thank you to our ASL interpreters, our closed caption. Sometimes technology can get sticky and challenging, so we appreciate everyone working really hard to ensure that our resources are accessible to everyone. So again, this session will be recorded. We'll send you a lot of resources in follow-up, and we look forward to continuing the conversation with you, and happy Small Business Week.